At sa ating mga naunang discussions ay na-discuss na natin yung elements ng spiral plus the derivation of sum of the elements. At ngayon ay ipagpapatuloy natin itong ating discussions para i-derive naman yung ilan pang mga elements ng spiral transition curvature. At guys, puntahan natin itong elements ng spiral transition curvature na tinatawag nating deflection angle at any point in the spiral. Ano ba itong deflection angle? Alam natin na yung deflection angle, yun daw yung angle that the line joining TS and any point on the spiral is making with respect to the tangent distance. Kaya kung ipapakita natin yung tangent distance, assuming natin na ito yung ating tangent distance, ano? At meron tayo ditong TS. At mula sa TS ay nag-drawing tayo ng spiral. Sabihin natin that ito yung kanyang any point on the spiral, ano? So let us call that any point on the spiral. Then, yung sinasabi natin na deflection angle shall be the angle that this line, itong line ito, okay, that will be joining the any point will be making with respect to this tangent. Ito yung ating tinatawag na I. Di ba? So, paano natin siya masosolve? So, kung alam natin itong length ng spiral at any point of the spiral that is given kay in terms of L. At we have already defined this distance, the distance or the offset of that point from the tangent, which is called as X. Then, this angle, this deflection angle, can be computed by considering this triangle formed by the length, the X, and the tangent. So that we're going to consider the triangle. Let me follow this one, and let us try to isolate the triangle and bring it here, so that we shall have here our triangle. Ang tinatarget nating kay value dito, element, ay itong kay angle na ito, and that angle is our deflection angle. Knowing that this length is our length of the spiral, ano, at any point, this being our TS, this being our point, and the opposite of that I is the offset from tangent at any point on the spiral. Kapatid, given that we have here the angle, the opposite side of that angle, and the hypotenuse of the triangle formed by these elements, then we can express the function or the trigonometric functions of this I such that a sine of I is the ratio of the opposite expressed in terms of X divided by the length, which is given by divided by the hypotenuse, which is given here as the length. But we understand that I is a very, very small angle. So that if I is expressed in radian, then the sine of that angle is approximately equal to the same angle. That is, sine of I is approximately the same as the angle itself, I. Hence, we can say therefore that I will be equal to the ratio of X over L. And if we wanted to express, because we already have defined the value or the formula for finding the value of X, which is given as L cubed over 6L sub C R sub C. So that if this will be substituted to the value of X in the I formula, therefore our I will become equal to L cubed divided by 6L sub C R sub C A divided by L. And this L will cancel. So this will cancel with that. At ang matitira sa ating numerator will be equal to L squared over 6L sub C R sub C. Kaya lamang meron akong gustong patingnan sa inyo, paunawa sa inyo that this element or this part, diba? Can be particularly the 6 can be factored such that this will be equal to the product of 3 and 2. And once that is factored, meron tayong nabuo ditong combinations of the elements such that the L square over 2 divided by L sub c divided by R sub c, which is this one, is equal actually to our S, which is defined as the deflection, the spiral angle at any point on the spiral. Now, if these terms, combination of terms that is equal to L squared over 2 L sub c R sub c will be substituted by S in this relation, that makukuha natin dito that I is equal to S over 3. Meaning, the deflection angle is just 1/3 of the spiral angle. So that at any point, okay, on the spiral, will have that relation that, okay, the deflection angle is 1/3 of the spiral angle at that point. Then from here, okay, we can also solve for the deflection angle at SC, or the deflection angle at the point where the spiral meets the curvature. So that, okay, the deflection angle at SC can be computed, okay, using the relation that at SC, okay, the spiral angle is already equal to S sub c. Hence, we can substitute that I will become I sub c, so that I sub c therefore will be equal to S sub c over T. And that gives us the formula for finding the deflection angle at SC. Now, for the last element, okay, which is somehow more complicated in the derivation, is the tangent distance, the computation of the tangent distance, okay, of the spiral. So, marami kasi akong sinusubaybayan na mga references, and I find that okay, some of them find it hard to explain, okay, the formula for finding the tangent distance. So, para ma-derive natin itong tangent distance, siguro mas maganda ay balikat uli natin yung drawing or illustration of a spiral transition curve in combination with the simple curvature. So let us again draw here our simple curvature. Let us imagine that we have here drawn our tangent. This is the back tangent of the simple curvature. And somewhere here, we try to draw our forward tangent such that this becomes our I sub c. Now, with this, okay, we try to establish the position of our PC in the simple curvature, assuming that this is the position of the PC. So from here, we can draw a perpendicular line so that somewhere here will be located our center of the simple curvature. Similarly, if we have established that this be our PC, then somewhere here shall locate our PT of the simple curvature, which will later on be changed to another term when it is joined by the spiral transition curve. So somewhere here will be our PT, and this will now, when we draw line perpendicular to this forward tangent, we shall be having this, okay, as our radius, and so that this becomes our center of the simple curvature. Then after that, we can now draw a smooth curve that will be tangent to these two tangents, and that our curve will be our simple curvature, or S, okay, or the simple curvature. Now, in order for us to be able to draw the spiral, as I have explained in the previous discussion, we can do it by establishing the vertex of the spiral, and that can be done by moving away from the center, this particular vertex. If this vertex will be moved, with this value, pakita natin yan. Yan, somewhere here will be the location of our new vertex. So imagine that this is the vertex of the spiral. Then, if we will be drawing tangent, a tangent line, from this point, that it will cross these tangents of the simple curvature somewhere here, and then dito sa kabila na ito, then we shall be establishing our tangent distance. Let us assume that this is our intersection angle of the two tangent lines of the spiral. Then we have here our tangent to the spiral. Diba? Sa makatwid, ang tinutukoy natin dito na spiral shall be the one that will be connecting this tangent to this of the point in the simple curvature, which will be later on called as spiral to curvature. Okay, so let us now try to work on this one. Okay, so imagine natin that this is our I. Hence, where are we going to see our I in the spiral? Let us try to imagine that this is our point where this will be the starting point of the spiral transition curvature. Okay, so that we will be using this as our tangent. Then we can now draw our simple curvature that will be running smooth in that direction, which is also tangent to the tangent line at SC. And then on the opposite side, we can draw a curvature, curvature that will also be tangent to this spiral, tangent to the spiral. So that this point will be called as SD, the spiral to tangent. Now let us now try to find out alin ba yung hinahanap natin ditong element. Yung daw element na hinahanap natin dito is the tangent distance of the spiral. At yung tangent distance of the spiral is actually the distance from TS to that of V. Ito yung ating hinahanap na elements. Ayun, di ba? So, we shall be looking actually this distance at tinatawag natin siyang T sub S, the tangent distance of the spiral. Diba? So, kung titignan natin medyo complicated yung ating element at medyo parang mahirap siyang i-derive. Pero kung masusundan ninyo yung ating presentation, ay makikita nyo na madali lang siyang maintindihan at ma-derive. Okay? Siguro ay ituloy natin by drawing tangent line at TS. Okay, mag-drawing tayo ng tangent line at TS. Sa makatwid, mag-drawing din tayo ng tangent line dito para ma-establish natin ito yung center. Ngayon, ang tanong natin na ganito, how much is this angle? Itong angle na nakikita natin dito. Diba? Since this is the central angle, di ba? Or the angle that subtend the combined curvatures. Therefore, the total angle will be equal to I. So that this angle will be 1/2 of this spiral angle. This total deflection angle. So if this is I, therefore this angle will be equal to I over 2. You might be asking bakit ko in-establish yan? Kasi later on, gagamitin natin yung angle na yan para ma-establish itong tangent distance na ito. Okay? Now, let us now try to imagine that at point O, we draw a line parallel to this radius, until it cross this tangent distance. So that if we will be drawing that, makikita natin yan yung ating line na yan. So what is the purpose? Para magkaroon tayo ng other element that later on will be used in deriving for this TS. Now, ganun din, we try to extend this simple curvature until it cross this vertical line. Subukan natin that we try to continue or extend this line so that we shall have here our extended yon. Okay? So makatwid, mula dito hanggang dito is actually a simple curvature. Let us just label some points of intersection. Let this point be called as A. Diba? And we would expect therefore that assuming natin that this point is our B, diba? Assuming natin that that point is our B, therefore yung distance from A to O will be our R sub C, diba? Now, tingnan natin kasi ang target natin is malaman natin itong angle na ito, diba? That RC o between these two radius of the curvature. Okay? So makikita natin that this one, since it is this line will be tangent to the curve at SC, and this line is parallel to the radius. Hence, itong angle na ito will also be equal to this spiral angle. Kaya kung ito spiral angle at SC, so ito tatawagin natin spiral angle at SC, and that is equal to S sub C. Diba? So, sa makatwid, kung titinan natin, okay, we can subdivide now. We can solve for this TS by considering that this length is subdivided into two parts mula sa part nito. Okay, tawagin natin itong unang bahagi nito na pinakita dito, B called as B. And this B called as any variable, any variable that may not be present here. So, because wala naman akong ganun nakikita, let us just consider that is an unknown distance. Sa makatwid, yung tangent distance na tinutukoy natin dito is the sum of this B and this distance, which later on will be computed. Okay? So, unahin natin ngayon itong B. Kung titinan natin, yung B ay the total distance mula dito hanggang dyan. Kaya lamang dahil yung B ay somewhat measured along the tangent, okay? But because if the angle there is very, very small, then we can say, we can expect, or we can simply assume that this B is approximately the same as the spiral angle from this point up to this. Diba? Similarly, ito namang this arc distance na ito, spiral angle dito, mula dito sa vertical line. Okay? If this angle is very, very small also, then we could expect that itong arc length AC is approximately the same as the spiral length, okay, from this vertical line to that of SC. Sa makatwid, yung B ay makukuha natin kapag na-establish at nakuha natin itong arc length AC. Diba? Now, balikan natin, Okay, itong arc length AC is a simple curvature. In-extend kasi natin itong curve na ito until it crosses that vertical line, okay, from A. Sa makatwid, itong ating arc length AC is a simple curvature which can be computed, Which can be computed, okay, because that AC subtend an angle equal to S sub C. So that if we will apply our knowledge in trigonometry, okay, so arc AC na ito is equal to the product of the subtended angle and the radius of the curvature. So that in this particular discussion, yung ating AC will be equal to R sub C multiplied by S sub C. Diba? Ngayon, we have already solve for the value of S sub C, di ba? Ito yung spiral angle at SC, and that value of SC is already computed at L sub C over 2R sub C. That if this will be substituted to S sub C here, then we can solve for the value of AB, and that AB will be equal to R sub C multiplied by S sub C, which is substituted here with the value equal to L sub C over 2R sub C. And you will notice that this R sub C will cancel. Kaya lalabas itong A sub B natin o AB natin will be equal to L sub C over 2. So sa makatwid, kung pag-aaralan natin mabuti, kapag tayo pa rin nag-draw ng in-extend pala natin yung simple curvature until it crosses a line that is drawn through the center and parallel to this line drawn tangent or perpendicular to the TS. Therefore, the length of that arc will be equal to 1/2 of the spiral angle at SC. The spiral length at SC, and that is equal to LC over 2. Kaya kung ito ay LC over 2, diba? At dahil nga sabi ko nga kanina, itong ating spiral distance from here up to that point is approximately the same or equal to that of B, because this angle will be very, very small. Kapag in-apply natin yung correction due to slope, we will expect and we will see that the value of this is approximately the same as the distance of L from TS to this point. Ngayon, pagkatapos nating makuha na yung value ng B is approximately equal to LC over 2, ang next natin kukunin na itong distance na ito, di ba? Distance na ito. And to solve for that distance, we can consider this value. Yan. Tinaltang ko na lang itong L sub C, ano? Okay, so let us now try to consider this triangle. Okay, so kung titingnan natin yung triangle na ito, no, at pag-aaralan natin yung mga elements, yung triangle na ito ay may mga size na D, which is the unknown. Bigyan ko na lang D, ano? Itong distance na ito, which is the vertical line, is composed of two elements. One is R sub C, and the other one is a distance from A up to that tangent distance. Di ba? Ngayon, kung itong distance na ito, ano, na kulay blue, na tawagin natin ngayong P, ay makuha natin. Di ba? Makuha natin. Then, we can already solve for this T by using this triangle, because you will have here, you can apply the function of right triangle, D being the tangent, diba? Of or being the ratio of D to this distance being the tangent of this total angle, diba? And how much this total angle? So kailangan ma-establish natin yung total angle na ito, which is actually 1/2 of our I, kasi hinati lamang naman natin yung ating element, ano? Kaya if this total distance is I, therefore this will be equal to I over 2. At makikita din naman yan dito kasi itong line na ito ay parallel dito, and you actually have here just one line. Sa mga tweet, itong angle na ito is also equal to this angle, and that angle equal to I over 2. Kaya ang tatargetin natin ngayon dito is our P. Diba? So, kailangan ma-solve natin itong P para pag na-solve natin yung P, na-solve natin ito, and then we can now already have our total tangent distance. Okay? So, para ma-solve natin yung P, let us try to connect A and B with a straight line. So, kung i-connect natin yan ng A and B, so meron tayo ngayong jang line, ano? And, we also try to draw. Okay, mag-drawing naman tayo dito kasi kailangan natin ma-establish natin yung relation between P, the other elements, particularly itong distance na ito mula sa B hanggang doon. Kasi itong B na ito ay alam natin because that is X sub C, di ba? So, ipakita natin, let us try to imagine that we have here a line that will be drawn horizontally or line perpendicular to this R sub C. Diba? And let us now try to have it there. At tawagin natin siyang point C. Diba? Pagamat maliit, so we can now identify that C, diba? Okay? So, from here, ang magiging pinakang target na natin is not just prepare itong SC, because SC, once you have taken for SC, AC, yung AC natin plus the value P will be equal to this distance from B to that line, and that line will be equal to our X sub C. So, pinakang target na natin ngayon is AD, di ba? Pero kung may napapansin kayo, meron tayong mga triangle na nabuo, particularly if I will be drawing a line from the midpoint of AC, mula dito sa midpoint ng AC, at nag-draw ko ng line papunta sa center. So, let us try to draw line that. Okay, nakita niyo yung line na yan. Diba? So, meron tayo ngayong mabubuo ngayong similar triangles. Okay, kukulayan ko dito yung similar triangles, and I know that, I hope that you will be able to follow this triangle. So, do you see this triangle? That small triangle, ano? So, that small triangle, gawin natin, i-blink natin ng konti. Yan. That small triangle is similar to this triangle na kulay blue naman. Why triangle? Kasi yung angles naman nila ay proportional to one another, and therefore the sides, their angles are equal, and therefore the sides are proportional, hence the triangles are similar. Now, if the triangles are similar, then we can apply the ratio and proportion of similar triangles so that we can solve for A sub C. Ano ba yung ratio? Ipakita natin dito yung ratio and proportion na mabubuo natin, di ba? Now, let us try to imagine that we consider this length of this AC, di ba? If the ratio of this AC to the hypotenuse of that small triangle shall be taken, then the ratio of that must be equal. Then the ratio of that must be equal to the ratio okay, of the smaller triangle of the blue colored triangle to the hypotenuse. Ito naman yung kanyang hypotenuse. So, kaya lamang, itong distance na ito, itong kalahati nito, okay, itong small distance na ito, is actually 1/2 of B, di ba? 1/2 of AB pala, I'm sorry. Therefore, that is equal to 1/2 of AB is to R sub C. So, that is the ratio, no? Kaya, since our target here is AB, so we can simplify. This becomes now, I'm sorry, AC, ano? So, we can have it that AC will be equal to AB squared, okay, divided by 2 times R sub C. Diba? Kaya lamang, ano yung AB? AB kanina lamang na-solve natin that AB is equal to 1/2 of L sub C. Diba? So that if AB will be substituted as 1/2 of L sub C, then therefore, we shall have it equal to AC equal to LC over 2 squared divided by 2 times R sub C. At kapag yan na sinimplify natin, this becomes equal to LC squared over 8R sub C. Kaya lamang, meron akong gustong ipaunawa sa that this term is almost similar, di ba? Is almost similar to one formula that we have, yung ating x sub c, di ba? Ang naiba lamang is 8, the constant here. For x sub c, it is 6, dito ay 8. Kaya if this will be made, made 6, kung gagawin natin to 6, therefore, we have to multiply, ano? We have to multiply, we have to multiply, both the numerator and the denominator by 3/4. So that if the denominator and the numerator will be multiplied by 3/4, therefore the denominator will become equal to 6. So that makikita natin dito that AC will be equal to 3/4 of LC squared over 3/4 of 8 multiplied by R sub C. And this product, when this will be simplified, that is actually equal to 6R sub C. So I have here 3/4 of L sub C squared over 6R sub C. Diba? Ngayon, may gusto pa akong ipaunawa sa inyo at ipapansin that this term, itong product ng LC squared over 6RC, diba, ay equal saan? Equal yan sa X sub C. Kaya kung papalitan natin siya ng X sub C, ang ating AC ngayon will become equal to 3/4 of X sub C. Na mga katwid, if this AC is 3/4 of X sub C, and knowing that AC and P is equal to this distance na kung saan siya yung X sub C. Diba? Therefore, we can compute, for the value of P as the difference between X sub C minus AC. But because AC is 3/4, therefore, yung ating P will be equal to what? 1/4 na lamang ng ating X sub C. Diba? 1/4 of X sub C. Ngayon, because that is 1/4 of X sub C, diba? Then, we can compute for this distance. Diba? That distance, using this triangle. Because this side, the total side, from this point up to that point is the sum of what? The sum of, R sub C. Diba? R sub C plus P. Diba? The sum of R sub C plus P. Diba? And so you have here R sub C plus P, which is equal to X sub C, yung ating P is equal to X sub C over 4, diba? That is equal to X sub C over 4 plus R sub C multiplied by tangent of I over 2. Kaya kapag itipapalitan natin yan, itong part na yun will be equal to X sub C plus R sub C tangent of I over 2. Kaya yung total tangent distance mula sa TS hanggang doon sa intersection ng tangents of the spiral will be the sum of L sub C over 2 plus the quantity X sub C over 4 plus R sub C tangent of I over 2. And so guys, yan ang kumpleto ngayon. Kumpleto na natin yung ating derivation ng formula ng spiral transition curve. At nakumpleto na rin natin yung discussions about spiral. Nagsimula tayo sa discussions ng super elevation, ipinakita natin yung derivation ng super elevation, ipinakita rin natin yung elements of spiral transition curve at saka yung kanyang properties. And then, do sa last latest na video na ipinakita natin, we have presented the derivation of some elements of the simple curve. Guys, huwag niyo pa akong iiwanan sapagkat meron pa tayong mga sample problem na ipakikita kung paano naman i-apply yung mga formula na derive natin mula sa super elevation hanggang dito sa iba't ibang elements ng spiral transition curves. Kaya guys, kung hindi pa kayo nakasubscribe, subscribe na kayo para marami tayong matutunan sa channel na ito. Once again, thank you very much for watching.